Hi there, everyone. This is Sean, and welcome to Questioning Money, a newsletter taking a closer look at how money works and how it affects the world around us. Today I'm going to talk about congressional gridlock and how our political climate today is one where very few laws get passed. This can be frustrating for a lot of people, and I get it. When the president is part of your political party, it can be really frustrating when the laws that you elected the president to pass die in Congress. In my opinion, though, this is a good thing. Congressional gridlock is good. It seems like the clear point at which our country started to become more divided was with the election of Barack Obama in 2008. Before 2008, political parties were seemingly more willing to work together, and this wasn't just about Congress. The fact that congressional members worked well together also reflected the state of the country at the time. While there was still disagreement, of course, in what policy should be enacted and how, there was more of a willingness to get things done and work together. After 2008, things changed almost immediately. As soon as Obama got into office, there was no more working together. At the same time, there began to be a level of anger and hatred among regular Americans. Politics wasn't just something that you disagreed on anymore. Now it was something that induced rage into people. It's interesting to observe that both pre- and post-2008, the mood on the ground in everyday America was similar to how the politicians on Capitol Hill acted. Before 2008, there really wasn't much vitriol in the streets, and politicians worked together. After 2008, there was hatred in the streets, and nothing got passed as long as the opposing party of the president had at least one branch of Congress. The takeaway here is that right around 2008, the country started becoming more divided, and since then, it's only become more divided. There's less common ground between people of both political parties than there ever has been before. And I think the reason for that is because politics is not just about policy anymore. It's about who you are as a person. What you believe politically seems to say more about you than it ever has before. I think this is actually mostly misguided, but it is how it is. To me, for example, the person who has opposing political views as me, but is nice to their waiter or holds the door for an elderly person is a better, more positive force on the world than someone who agrees with my politics but is a genuinely bad person. But that's not the point. The point is that the country is divided, more than it ever has been, and that division is why it's a good thing that neither party is able to pass laws and enact its agenda right now. Laws are supposed to be hard to pass, and there's a reason for that. The reason is that a law being hard to pass makes it so that it's also hard to roll back or negate that law in the future. You don't want a system where two parties of a bitterly divided country are taking turns passing laws that the other half of the country hates, which are only going to get rolled back as soon as the next president gets elected. That sort of wild shifting from side to side, laws being easily passed in either direction, is much more harmful for a country than having a stable government that can't do anything. Where this bothers me, and where it's a cause for concern, is that both parties are adopting more of a by any means necessary approach to politics and policy, where instead of trying to pass laws through a gridlocked Congress, they're either continuously expanding presidential power, or are looking for loopholes in the laws, or are just disregarding governing norms altogether that have been present for decades or more. And by any means necessary is dangerous, and it's bad. It's not how democracy works. If you don't have the votes to pass something, you don't get to do it, and that's fair, and it's a good thing. You have to realize that if you're able to get things done even though you don't have the votes in the way that you want, you've now made it possible for the other side to follow that same route to exploit the rules to get what they want done. And that is much more harmful for the country, and especially for our democracy. So I would much rather be in a country where nothing gets done than a country where there are wild swings in the law depending on who the president is. And that's why congressional gridlock is good right now. In a country that's as divided as it is, neither party should get their way. And that is all for this issue of Questioning Money. If you like the newsletter, please subscribe to get it sent directly to your email inbox every Monday. You can follow me on Twitter @SeanCover, and I'll talk to you all next week. Take care.